Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Zoom at 8. My name is Julianne Peterson, and I am your host every Tuesday night for the last 6 years here at Zoom at 8. So I'm excited that you're here, and many of you have been with me the whole time. So a great commitment. We are building relationships. We are making people smart. We're introducing people that you may not have been in contact with. And tonight is like no other. Christion Sadler's here. He's going to be with PreIShare. We're going to talk about a lot of things. He's going to bring awareness to you of a product that he is involved with. And, listen, if you're working on a deal, I'd love the opportunity to be able to provide your debt. I am a loan officer for Old Capital. We are premier providers of debt in multifamily, but we will take it across all the other asset classes. I just recently closed a deal in an office building. So, um, we can help you with that. So when you're getting to the point where you're ready to put in an LOI and you've checked in with your insurance, your tax assessor, and your property manager, and it still fits for your returns, it's time to come over my way. Okay. And I will underwrite this, especially on agency. We can turn a quote in 48 hours. So you just send me your T12, the rent roll, an offering memorandum if there is one, and then your underwriting, and we're going to take a look at it. You know, right now, today, if you've been watching the 10-year treasury, it has been going up and down. In fact, today, we got an increase last week of 40 basis point increase on Freddie. Today, it went down 25 basis points. So it is all over the place. All to say that when you get a quote today, from a broker like myself, tomorrow it may be different. So you want to choose a broker that you know, like, and trust, that has a relationship with brokers, with other types of vendors that will help your business. Okay. And that's what Old Capital does. We really want to educate you in so many different areas. We do obviously Zoom at 8. We do the podcast, the Old Capital podcast, which is fantastic. If you've never listened to it, it's worth it. We've got 60,000 downloads. It's really got some valuable information on the market, on what's happening in loans, because you know what? We are your biggest partner. We bring 60 to 80% of the deal, of the money to the transaction. We also have the Old Capital conference coming up. That's coming up in October. It's a 1.5 day event. And I know that there are people here in the room that will be there, but we also have big investors that you want to get to know. We've got vendors, we've got lenders, we've got property managers from across the nation. So depending on where you're looking, you know, it could be your best place to spend time this year at the Old Capital Conference. So I send out an email every Friday and on Tuesdays. Hopefully you got it. And there's a link to all of the different things that we've got going on. Last week we talked to Yardi Matrix, an economist. If you haven't seen that video, highly recommend it. It should be on our Old Capital Facebook page. So take a look at that. Tonight we have Christion Sadler, who is with us tonight. I met Christion when I went to the BEC, the Best Ever Conference. Some of you were there as well, and it is great. If you have never been to the Best Ever Conference, I think you should all attend. It's got some great people that speak and some great vendors. So take a look at that. But Christion is a seasoned real estate entrepreneur and co-founder of PreIShare. It's a platform specializing in bridging the gap between real estate syndicators and passive investors, while also providing a liquidity platform for LPs that want to exit investments early if needed. That is not something that is out there very much. So this is a great platform with extensive experience in buying, selling, and managing projects across multiple asset classes, including single family, multifamily, commercial, and land. Christion has helped investors and syndicators structure and scale successful real estate portfolios. Christion is a nationally recognized speaker and expert and has reached hundreds of thousands of people. He's also a television personality on ABC 4's Real Estate Essentials. So through PreIShare, Christion continues to revolutionize how syndicators connect with passive investors, creating more opportunities for long-term wealth building and liquidity in the private real estate market. So I want to have everybody welcome Christion Sadler to Zoom at 8. And if you guys would be so kind to go up to the right-hand side of your screen, there are 9 little dots. Open that up and give the speaker your attention. So, Christion, welcome to Zoom at 8. How are you tonight?
I am so great. Thank you for having me on. It was great meeting you at Best Ever. And Waleska, who's a good friend of mine here in Utah, couldn't speak more highly of you as a lender. So
Thank
congrats on
you.
that.
Yeah, thank you. We've done several loans with them and to much success. So thank you for that. So, Christion, you have a platform, but let's talk a little bit about you. You've been in multifamily, you've been in single family. Tell us more about how did you get involved in real estate?
Yeah, so I'm just a real estate nerd. When I was a kid, I was raised by a single mom of four here in Utah. And, there were just a lot of things that we didn't have as a family. And when I looked at the families that had the things that I did want, they all owned real estate. So I decided I wanted to be a real estate investor when I was 17 years old, 16, 17 years old, and started going to seminars before I was even 18, trying to learn the business. And it took me some hard lessons along the way and a lot of money spent on programs that didn't work, but connected with a local community here in Utah and had some millionaire investors take me under their wing, and walked away from my job at 22 and have been full-time real estate ever since.
Wow, that's a great success story. I just love when I meet young investors. We all want to say, gosh, I wish that was me. I bought my first property when I was 22, $250,000 deal in San Pedro, California. And about 16 months after living in it and owning it, the riots came and I lost overnight a bunch of money. So you probably have experienced some of the same. It's a dancing investment. It is never straight line. So tell me more about how you got involved with PreIShare. What is it? Tell me the background. What were you trying to solve for investors?
Yeah. So it really came from the mind of Michael Anderson. So he's a co-founder in the business and really the brain behind it. Michael Anderson founded a company called Real Source Properties, and Real Source did over $7 billion worth of deal flow, mostly value add multifamily over about 11 different states. He had about $1 billion in assets under management pretty consistently up and until he sold that company to his business partner roughly 7 years ago. And he thought he was going to retire, and that didn't last very long. So he started thinking about all the things that he would do with his life in retirement, and none of them sounded, too much better than building a business and helping others. That's just what he's done for so long. And so he wanted to solve some of the problems with the world of real estate syndication. As he got together with friends of his, they talked about all the war stories, if you will, and the things that they wish they could change. And the biggest one for him was the lack of liquidity for the passive investor. He had so many people that came to him over the years that needed out for one reason or another, and it put a lot of pressure on him. And, it was various reasons, but many times these people were loyal in the fact that they wanted to keep their money invested, but they had a life situation that came up, and so he wanted to create more of a way to fill that gap, if you will. And so he assembled a team of us. He reached out to me just based on my real estate experience and public speaking and television and radio. He wanted somebody that could be kind of the face of the company and the forefront of it. And since then, I've taken on a whole lot of other things. And so I sit as CEO now with the company, and I've been able to build some really great relationships internally within the company in, what we've been building, but then also, been thrown into this world of real estate syndication, and friends all over the country that have hundreds of millions of dollars in assets under management and great projects going on, and they're growing and scaling, and we're here to help with that the best we can, and also advocate and look out for those passive investors and make sure that people are remembering the people on the other side of that money that they're out there collecting for their projects.
So I'm curious, there's through the last 2, 3 years when we all got into bridge lending, a lot of people are skeptical, like, are the operators doing a good job? I want out of this. Their value of their stock is not what they thought it would be or what they even put in. Does your platform allow for people just to get out? What is the antithesis for you have like some guidelines that you have to have a hard time, like how do you decide I'm going to take this one over another person?
Yeah, so great question, and I will tell you that that's the first thing that people think of a lot of times when we talk about a secondaries platform is getting out of bad deals, and that's probably like the lowest use case scenario for our platform, right?
Okay.
Because if you're trying to sell something that is not valuable to you, you're going to have a hard time selling it to somebody else. So really, to answer your question, if you boil it down, what the platform is a classified site for those LP positions. And so we are not buying these positions. We are not telling you what you can and cannot sell or how much to sell it for, because that would step into all kinds of FINRA and broker dealer realms that we don't want to be in right now. And so, yeah, it's just a pretty straightforward. It's a place where you can go and list your position in an existing syndication, find a private buyer, and then get approval from your sponsor. The sponsor does always have to approve the new investor coming into, their project, and that's the basics of it.
What are some of the challenges that you're hearing somebody coming and saying, hey, I need to list this? What are some of the more um, popular types of exiting, wanting out?
Yeah, so it's things like my kid got into college earlier than I expected. A family member has, I mean, I'm dealing with, some things right now with where my sister has cancer. And luckily she does have insurance and things, and, we're rallying behind her, but that comes up a lot in people's life where there's a medical situation that maybe insurance isn't covering. And so that investment now is that nest egg that they've built for themselves. There's one, and if we end up going over and screen sharing, I happen to pull up one from a gentleman that I've been talking to over the years, and I've learned his situation, and his isn't an urgent need, but his life has just changed since he first started investing. And so he's looking at it as, I want to move into a new house and I want to reposition, everything that way. And so it could be various things, but it really comes down to, a life change usually, that sparks the interest to sell.
Got it. So when you had mentioned that your owner, the owner that started this platform, was looking for LPs on deals. So kind of walk us through how your platform helps find LPs. It's a classified, and we'll walk through the platform in just a minute here, but tell me more about, because there are people in the room that need LPs. So how would they use the PreIShare platform?
Yeah. So that was an evolution that we didn't realize that we would be in that space of providing accredited investor leads. But what happened was when we first went to market, you're in that startup mode and you go, move forward with everything. So we launched the platform and we launched the PreIShare liquidity fund at the same time. So the liquidity fund was designed to buy those secondaries at scale. And we had a very strong digital marketing presence within our team. And so we took the list that we had compiled together as a team, and we also just went out into the internet and started advertising our 506c offering to accredited investors. And very quickly on our first $10 million tranche, we had $35 million in verbal commitments with no product to buy. And so everybody thinks they want that problem, by the way, because I can see it in your face every time I say that. And it's only a good problem to have for a short period of time. And we just realized that there was a gap there. There were investors that were looking for solid investments, and there were sponsors on our platform that wanted to connect with accredited investors. And it was really, a couple of those who had went through our sponsor approval process, which, if I can back up a little bit, from the very beginning, we knew that the sponsors were going to be the influencers over all of the LPs that we wanted to connect with, right? They're the ones doing the hard work of creating these passive opportunities. So at the very beginning, we created a sponsor approval process that we would take people through, where we do background checks on all the primaries involved. We look at their track record. We look at reporting procedures, basically just a sniff test to say, is this somebody that we would want to do business with? And if the answer is yes, then we brought them onto our show. We, sent emails out to our database and those types of things, just help them build their brand within our ecosystem. And some of those sponsors saw what we were doing on the outward marketing front and said, can you do that same thing for us? And so we said, I think at the right price, we can make that happen. And so that's kind of where that came from. It used to be, in order to even, launch a campaign with us, you were going to be spending $150,000, $200,000. We've now changed the program to put a lot more control in your hands as the syndicator, so we can get somebody with a full launch. I mean, full marketing. We fly out to you on site, everything, launch your campaigns in all the different platforms, and start driving leads into your business for as low as 25 grand. So we've shifted a lot of our model to make sure that we can be accessible not to only the elite syndicators out there. And more recently, we helped a group that first time doing a syndication as a group. They all had their own individual experience, but they actually oversubscribed their $5.8 million raise in about 60 days from the time we launched their ads. So it's working, and we've got a loyal base there, and we're always looking for new people that we can highlight and feature. And it's been a lot of fun for me, if I'm being totally honest with you, to fly across the country and meet teams and see different projects and be able to help show them in their best light. It's a lot of fun.
So do you bring in all of the cast of characters to do the interviews, to do the whole pitch deck, the whole videos? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's I've got my main media guy, Nick Ferrari, and he'll fly out. I usually, so far, have been there with him to drive the content, but the content is not actors or paid professionals. It's you as a syndicator. Our goal is, this is a people business. No matter how you look at it, if you think the investor is investing in your project, you're wrong. They're investing in you. And so we want to help you tell your story in persuasive ways that are still real and raw, and connect with the same voice that they're going to hear when they're on a call with you. Because legally, we have to stop when we turn over the lead. We can't speak about your project on your behalf. We can't sell your project on your behalf. We've chosen not to co-GP, not to broker-dealer this. We stop as a marketing company at delivering the leads to you. And so we want to do this in a way where it's real, so that when they're talking to you or your investor relations team on the other line, the brand is on point.
Oh, what a fantastic idea. We looked at a company that was doing this way back when. It was, I think, 25,000, but they did not do all the details that you're talking about. And there is, obviously, there's a need for it. So I'm really excited for you. Why don't you give us a walkthrough on the platform so everybody can get a sense? And if you have an example of what you've done for one of your investors, I'd love to see that.
Okay. Yeah, let me start here. Let me share my screen. I'm trying to get all of you guys' contact info, so make sure that we pause by the end of this and I can switch over here. But this is the listing hub. So literally, if you just go to thelistinghub.com, this is where you go. This is like our third iteration of our software, by the way, and we'll probably have a new one rolling out soon. So we became a tech company without realizing we were a tech company. And anyways, I would love for any of you to go there, test it, give us your feedback. But as you can see, it's a classified site. So you come in here and there's equity listings, and then there's first position debt listings. So if you have an existing note that you're wanting to sell, that's another avenue on our platform. You can sell those first position lien notes. But you might also notice that some of these are spotlight listings and they are for new raises. So that has to do with our LP leads program. So the only way to have a new raise on the platform is through our LP leads program. And then you scan through here and you can see that there's a bunch of different passive positions in real estate. I pulled one up just so that there wouldn't be any lag time. And this is from a gentleman who he's invested with this one operator, very big name operator, right? And he's invested with him for, I think, like 6 years now, 7 years. So he just kept investing into these different funds. And then he got wise to the big wide world of real estate syndication and other operators that were out there and the types of returns that he could get that are better than what he's getting here. And more importantly, he had a life situation, where he wants to move into a bigger place. His dad, his mom had passed away, so his dad is living with him and he wants to give him more room and explore other passive investment opportunities. So he's willing to sell his entire portfolio with this operator. And I mean, if you can imagine stepping in where most of the investors in this project are getting like a 3 to 4% return, and you could step in and get a 7 to 8% return, plus you could see an exit in a lot faster timeline. You're not looking at a 10-year hold. All of a sudden your IRRs go significantly up, and obviously your cash on cash does as well. So that's just one example I wanted to show. So essentially, if you came in here, you found one that you wanted to look into, then you could just send a message right here to that operator, or sorry, to that LP. I'm not logged in. But anyways, you could send a message to that LP. You guys could talk about it, figure out what your ultimate sale price is, and then send off a note to the sponsor and just ask them for their permission. Or if it's a larger syndicator like this one, they already have processes and procedures for it. They do it on a quarterly basis. They have specific fees that you're going to pay to their legal team to make the swap. And so that's the basics of the platform. Do you have questions about that at all?
No, I would like to see the listing, how you helped run. I think I on my own, but I don't think anyone else saw it. You did an interview, you walked them through it, the offering. Yeah, I think that's the one.
So this would be the LP leads program, which again, there's the secondaries platform, which is what we're like, our primary mission is to create that secondaries platform. And then there's the LP leads program, which we all use. We work it all through the software. And so, yes, this would be, for example, the Streamline team. And so they have an 80 unit portfolio right here in Utah. So I didn't have to fly to this one. This was the first local project that we featured. And so we went out there and we interviewed with them. In fact, let me pull something up for you real quick.
So they're looking for investors.
They are looking for investors, correct. So they've got a project. They've actually already closed on it, but they're still raising the remainder of the money on that project. And so we're just helping them find that final amount, which is interesting. As I'm looking this up, is one of the strategies that Michael Anderson used over the years to build his $1 billion portfolio is, they were raising oftentimes $10 to $20 million at a time. And he talks about how after the new laws and rules came about, because before he was all 506B, right? 506C wasn't even a thing for a lot of his career. He's been syndicating for 40 years before it was cool. But when 506C came out, what he would do is at the very tail end of their raise, he would launch an online campaign with one of the platforms out there. And the reason he would do it is because it put some urgency for those people who were coming in towards the end of the raise so they could get it closed out quickly. But more importantly, he would get a whole list of people that he could say, you know what, you missed out on this one, but we've got another project under contract right now. would you be interested in seeing that one? And so that's how he always kept his stable of investors growing. And then let me just I'm just going to get this link pulled up real quick. All right, sample videos. Sorry, I had to go the long way to find it, and I didn't figure you guys want to watch me search through my email database, but
No, that's fine. No problem.
Share. So, and by the way, if any of you guys want to see this and look at some of the projects that we've done, you can definitely do that. So let me just pull up. This was the first project that we ever highlighted right here. And really fun project.
We are on location right now with Chris from Empower, and this is his newest project where he is buying and refurbishing the Rosario Resort. This is an opportunity to make great returns on your money while being a part of American history. You got to check it out. So Chris, take us through some of the key.
Okay, so that's a long form video, but we also have short form videos. So I'll go to a different one for that real quick.
So then you're posting those for them as well on LinkedIn and Facebook. That's part of the
That's correct. Yep. So
okay,
we take
program.
and we create this beautiful media, and then we send out messages to our internal database of accredited investors, and anybody who shows interest, that becomes a lead. And then we also put it onto Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram. We put it onto Google and YouTube. We put it into X, we put it into LinkedIn. We also have team members that will go post organically on our pages and do outreach on your behalf for the project to different groups and things. So it's really full service with what we're doing there. And let me see if I can find one that is just a quick story form.
So I see Grow Capitus.
Yeah, Neil is a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
He has, from the very beginning, he's actually the one that got us to go to BEC. And with his recommendation, I was on stage there, not this year, but last year. So that was
okay.
Here's the project I was just telling you about, that $5.8 million raise.
I would urge you to look further to see how we can provide you with a 30% annualized average return. I'll tell you what, it comes down to who you know. And in this instance, my partner, Homer Cabello, effectively running multifamily for the state of Texas, knew the seller, the city of FAR. An amazing set of circumstances, truly an anomaly, and one that I urge you to look further to see how we can pay you 30% annualized average return.
We are on site today with Ian Drew from Jackson Place Investors, and we want to show you Jackson Place. Come take a look.
Look, we were very lucky. My partner, Homer Cabello, runs multifamily for this.
So
I love this.
Fun. Yeah. So that, again, I'm trying to find the shorter videos, because most of what people are going to be seeing in the ads are going to be the shorter videos, which would be, but you can see we have a whole process. So that we build funnels throughout all these platforms. So they see the initial ad, and then so I think this one's an ad right here. Let's see.
Jackson Place is backed by an experienced team with $378 million in executed deals, with targeted 30% plus AAR, 12.5% plus cash on cash, and 10% preferred equity. This Texas investment is ideal for passive investors. Accredited investors only. Get in with a $50,000 minimum. Don't wait. Learn more today.
Okay,
so that's something that somebody would see online, and then they would go into the funnel.
Okay, so tell me how that has already been raised, and how long that was. 60 days. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yep. Raised and funded again. And there's, I can even show you the video of his testimonial if you want, but oversubscribed that in roughly 60 days from the time that we launched our ads. Now there is about a 2 to 4 week ramp up on getting that going.
Okay, so why don't we did you want to share any more? There you go. Okay.
Only if you want to.
I just wanted to see.
I had just switched off the share and forgot that I was sharing it with you.
Oh, no worries. So when do people reach out to you for that service? in particular? Because I'm the lender. It's going to take me 60 days, right? And
Mhm.
we need as much time as possible. So what's your recommendation on that?
Yeah, and that's the interesting balance. It really depends on the project itself. And so I wish I had a good answer for you. The sooner the better, but also you don't want to put out capital before you have the project fully secured, right? And so yeah, I can't give you the final answer. We've kind of had a mix. We've had people as soon as they went under contract, they were with us and launching their campaigns. We've had others that actually have raised and closed on the property, and then they finish out their raise with us after the fact. So there's
Yes.
lots of ways of
Okay.
doing it.
Okay. All right. That sounds great. And so is it day one, sign the contracts, I'm paying you 25,000, or is there a payment plan? How does that work?
Yeah, so you just pay it up front, and then once we get through that initial ad spend, then it's going to be a cost plus basis. So it's basically $1,000 per platform plus ad spend. Right now, because we were mostly meta heavy and we're ramping up all the other platforms, we're actually doing a special of $500 per platform plus ad spend. And so, yeah, don't expect that for $25,000 you're going to go raise a $10 million equity raise. It's most likely going to be more than that, but we're going to help you with looking at the metrics and what's working, what's providing the leads and the capital, and then help you dive in further into all of that stuff.
This sounds fantastic. So what else are you working on that people should know about?
Well, we are hosting our first large live event coming up in August, and so that's going to be fun. Do you want me to share
Sure.
that?
Yeah.
Okay. So so I've actually run over 1,000 events in my lifetime. I used to run a local community of real estate investors here in Utah, and we had 300 people coming on a weekly basis for many years, just to our large events, plus other events. But I had taken a hiatus from doing events for a while when we were first, launching this company, and I'm excited to get back into it because I love bringing people together. So in this one, this is called the Capital Raise Forum. So it's going to be August 21st through the 23rd. We're going to be having it here in Utah. It's going to be at a world-renowned racetrack. So a lot of fun. If you know Mike, in his younger days, he was a track guy. So he's had a lot of amazing cars over the years. And anyway, so this is kind of a tribute to him in that way. But we're at the private clubhouse there. We cap out at 250 people. So we're really just bringing the elite capital raisers that are wanting to elevate their business to the next level in 2025. We have 3 speakers on the agenda that have raised over $1 billion in equity to acquire multiple billions of dollars in real estate. And then we're going to also have lots of other, people that can talk about what's working in today's market, different ways of structuring, different things that you can add in, how to host, large scale events for yourself that are specifically around raising capital. Day 1 and 2 is all of the conversation parts of it, where you're going to have short TED style talks, long Q&As. We want this to be a community driven event, meaning you as the guest at the event, we want it to be tailored to you, because most of the people that are going to be there, most people in our audience already are out there syndicating real estate and doing big things. And so the people that you're going to meet next to you are probably just as impressive as the people on stage. So day 3 for VIPs and above is all about networking and solidifying those relationships and writing business. But we're going to have a lot of fun in that as well. We have drift cars, so you'll be able to hop in and slide side by side, bumping doors with your neighbors in the drift car. We'll have go-karts. We'll have different card games and different things going on, so that you have ways to connect with people that you probably wouldn't at just a traditional seminar style event. If you can't tell, I'm a little passionate about events. I'm excited to put this together.
Yeah, that is excellent. All right. So how does somebody find out about this?
Just go to capitalraiseforum.com.
Okay.
Now, of course, you can reach out to me
capitalraiseforum.com.
as well if you have any questions. We have We've designed the tickets to where if you're just coming, for the learning portions and then you want to get out of there, then the tickets are as low as $379, which for your group, Julianne, happy to offer a discount code as well. So you guys can get that even less. But we also have the dignitary package, for example, for somebody who says, I really want to be side by side with the speakers and trainers, and I want to be, riding in the black cars with them to and from the event and dinners and things. And so, yeah, it's just kind of like, depending on how much interaction you want to have, we've got tickets for that.
As it is that long-term statement is, you want to bring the people that are elevated, that you want to elevate to. They're in your sphere. You get to know these people. And an event like this, just like the old Capitol Conference, you're going to find people that are going to maybe invest into your deal. So I think that this is a great opportunity, whether it's through this vehicle here, or obviously using their platform to meet new investors. Use that whole marketing package can be very helpful to your transaction. So I had a question here. PPC ads, what are those?
So are they mainly paid ads? And yes, they are. Now,
okay.
We do have our internal databases, like I said, that we'll launch to as well. Plus we have organic that we're going to send out there. But the only thing that you can truly scale, I guess, effectively and consistently is to run paid ads. And so that's probably what we specialize in the most. But our database, does great in providing those extra boosts of leads of people who are interested in passive opportunities as well.
Amazing. So what's the average cost for a $100 campaign? Would you be able to address that from a per unit basis, potentially?
No, it'd be more how much you're looking to raise. So for example, Ian on that project, that was a $50,000 campaign. And it was a $5.8 million raise. And I don't think he got every bit of that capital through us. I know that he had launched to his own platforms first, but, was having a difficult time raising. And then when we launched for him, we just took him over the finish line very quickly.
Yeah, I can imagine it's pretty quick. Yeah. All right. Well, let's open it up if there's anybody in the audience that has questions. We would like to share the Julie code.
The Julie code. I didn't prepare it for this, but I will get it.
How about a Zoom at 8? Can you do that? Maybe Zoom at 8.
I think I can make that, but it won't be ready for. Give me till tomorrow. Give me till tomorrow at noon, and then yes, we will do. Let's just do, because I don't know if you can put the @ symbol in there. So
or you just AT.
Let's make
Zoom
it
at 8.
Okay,
the AT8.
Zoom at 8. Zoom at 8. The number 8.
Yeah.
I will make that happen. I'll just have to call my team member and tell them to get it done.
There you go. Zoom at 8, and you could use that for the code for a discount there. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much. Candace has a question.
This is so cool. Thank you so much. I'm just curious about like we've closed on the property. We've hired you. When you're closing on, say, like a value add, it may not be in the best shape. So like, how do you go about doing a video with something like this?
That's a good question.
Make it look really good. How do we run over to a model somewhere else that has nothing to do with the property? Like, how do you ad lib all that?
That's a great question. And Nick is the master at creating that magic. So we have one right now. I could show you the stuff for it. It's in here. Why don't I pull it up for you? If we have time. How much time do we have?
Yeah, you got a good 7 minutes. We got Rob, who has got a question too. So
anyways, this property's in Mesquite. It's not good looking. When we got there, we're like, okay, how are we going to make this look great on video? It's an old motel, right? But I will say that Nick did his thing, and it's it's been great. So we're going to pick and choose how we film, where we film. We had another project that wasn't built yet. It was flex space. So we went over to a local flex space here in Utah because the operator lived here in Utah, but he was doing a project in Texas, Denton, Texas. And so we just went here. It looks nothing like the property that he was, but it didn't really matter. We weren't saying this is the property. We were just saying there's a flex space property, if you will. So hopefully that answers your question.
Let's see it. Got a lot of clicking there, Christian.
We're working on a stabilized cash flowing asset with huge value add upside. We're underwriting to an 8% cash on cash yield and a 15% annualized return in a high rent growth submarket. Click the link below to learn more.
So there's one example.
All right, guys, so let's talk about this project. What is it that we're looking at and what's the plan?
It's a 51-unit apartment complex. Returns is 15.11%, and we have about an 8% cash-on-cash return.
The first phase consists of 22 units and is a conversion of a former motel. The second phase was ground-up construction and consists of 29 units completed in 2023.
Already stabilized and the proven market and business plan that's already been proven out.
All right, let's take a look at these first units, and then we'll take you over to phase 2.
Click the link below.
So as you can see, the drone flyovers and different things that we can do, we can make it look sexy, even if we're sitting in a storage facility that is just metal doors. We can find ways to make it look good on video. And a lot of it, again, it's going to be more about capturing you and your brand.
Well, and it's so difficult when you want to find a photographer and a director and a producer. You got it all together, and you've done this numbers and numbers of times. So I love that. All right, Rob, what's your question?
Hey, Christian, it was great to hear from you, and that's a great presentation. Quick question for you. So with this large of a database and LPs, are you seeing any trends on specific buy boxes or markets that you're seeing, or has value add always been your bread and butter?
So it's all over the board, but we also are specifically targeting leads for the specific projects. And so it's hard to say that I can see a trend necessarily when, at one time we're out in Washington on Orcas Island featuring, a old resort, and another time we're in Florida on a self-storage project. What I have seen is, if anything, I've noticed, and again, there's all types of investors for all types of projects, and we can help you find them. As a whole, the database that I've seen so far, most people want to see some upside. So the projects that are just a flat return, they got to be paying that immediately, or that there's got to be some built-in upside. And so those are the two things. If you're going to give just a fixed return, 15% or whatever it is, you're probably going to want to have that paying fairly quickly. Versus if you're not paying right away, if you can offer more of a true LP position with some equity, then you're probably going to have a better chance at raising capital.
Awesome. Thank you.
Brianna.
Yes, thank you very much. It was such a great presentation. My question is, this would also work with a fund of funds?
I think it could. We haven't done it yet, but yes, as long as you're set up as a 506c, we can come out, we can feature your team. We can, definitely get you leads, and then it's up to you on, actually closing capital on that. So we would probably build it more around your team at that point, and how you underwrite and how you choose your investments and those types of things versus a specific project.
Correct. And then statistically, what is the percentage of people that enroll in your program and they raise the amount of money that they needed for the most part?
Well, I don't know anybody that hasn't closed. Now, there's been different situations. So for example, one of our clients that we consistently work with now is RSN Group, and they came in on the first project. And as soon as we launched their ads, they had an institutional investor that came and took out the whole raise, right? So I look at us as an add-on more than anything, right? We are a tool in your toolbox, but not the entire toolbox. Yeah, I don't know of anybody that has not closed that we've worked with thus far.
Okay, well,
What a success story. That's great. All right, anybody else before we move to the next level of fun. Well, this has been fantastic, Christion. I love it. You've got so many offerings. You've got the LP request to get out of a deal. You have the classifieds to see if somebody wants to be an investor. And then you've got this whole marketing structure and plan for a deal. I just love it. And then you've got the event coming up. Is there anything else?
I mean, I could keep talking all day long, but I think that that's enough. As far as centered around PreIShare, those are the biggest gist of it.
Great. If someone wants to connect with you, what is the best way?
So if you can spell my name correctly, I am really easy to find. So it's Christion with an I-O-N, Sadler, S-A-D-L-E-R. I did put my email and phone number, that is my cell phone, in the chat. But also, I'm pretty active on all social platforms. I will say if you're on LinkedIn and some places, you might not actually be talking with me. If you send me a message, you probably are talking with somebody on my team, but they will get the message to me most of the time. But if you don't get a response quickly on one of the platforms, then just reach out direct. And again, that's my cell phone. That's my email.
Can
Facebook,
you
any of
do
those.
do me a favor on your cell phone, because we've got people who listen to this on YouTube and don't have the chat. What is your phone number that we could reach out to you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So again, my name's Christion Sadler, Christion, Sadler, Sadler. Phone number is 801-330-5433. And my email address is just csadler@preishare.com, which is PreIShare.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, thank you so much. It's really helpful to know what products are out there that can help us in a time of need or in a time of, going the next level of investor. So thank you so much.